A salute to the men who started a classic ape series.
What will he find out there, Doctor?
His destiny.
We'll preview the future of combat, a high-tech aircraft without a pilot. Plus, on the set of Stargate SG-1, the latest sci-fi entertainment news, and one of Deep Space Nine's top creature and plot creators. Welcome to another edition of Sci-Fi Entertainment. I'm Chase Masterson. From close encounters with celebrities to tomorrow's technology, the world of science fiction is generating headline-grabbing news every day. Here are some of the stories creating a stir.
I think if I were doing like a traditional cop show, I would be bored.
Sean Cassidy, the creator of American Gothic and Roar, has abruptly abandoned his latest genre project, Hollyweird. The Fox network pulled the series from its fall lineup for extensive reworking. Reworking, Cassidy feels, is unnecessary. NASA's Jet Propulsion Laboratory has become the scientific consultant for the new Babylon 5 spin-off series, Crusade. Creator J. Michael Straczynski wants the show to be scientifically realistic. So Crusade's writers and effects staff will use JPL's input to design the show's planets, alien life forms, and environments. Crusade premieres on TNT in January.
We're hit!
Sci-fi is leading the trend toward noisier movies. USA Today says Armageddon tops the current loudness list at a near-deafening 110 decibels. That's still under the 125 decibel pain threshold for human ears, but well above the 80 decibel noise level of a subway tunnel. Godzilla and Blade both clocked in at about 103 decibels. For more sci-fi news updates, check out the online Sci-Fi Wire at the Sci-Fi Channel's Dominion website. You'll find it at www.scifi.com. While Stargate SG-1 continues on Showtime pay cable, the older episodes will debut this month on regular broadcast television. Now, even more viewers will get to see the TV series inspired by the movie Stargate. Here's a behind-the-scenes look at the show about a Special Forces colonel, his scientist sidekick, and their quest to save the Earth from destruction.
My God. Look at this. Wait, the energy the gate must release to create a stable wormhole, it's astronomical, to use exactly the right word.
In bringing the concept of Stargate to television, the producers studied the film for inspiration.
We spent the summer picking apart the feature, finding questions that needed answering from the feature that would give us places to jump off. We wanted to be very true to the feature, so we were very careful about that. We went back and studied all the technology and the way the Stargate worked.
The biggest challenge was recasting the lead character, Jack O'Neill, played by Kurt Russell in the feature film. TV veteran Richard Dean Anderson agreed to step into the role, but only if some changes were made.
You ever think of writing a book about your exploits in the line of duty?
I've thought about it, but then I'd have to shoot anyone that actually read it. That's a joke, sir.
Seeing the movie and what Mr. Russell had done with it, I just knew that if I was going to be in it for the long haul, that I was going to have to bring a sense of humor to it. Because with all due respect to what Kurt did, I couldn't sustain that level of severity over at least a 2-year, which is the Showtime commitment, over that amount of time. And so far, they've given me some nice leeway and allowed my ideas to filter in. So I'm having fun.
Chevron 7, lock!
The SG-1 team travels through the Stargate's portals and into new alien worlds. It's an expensive concept to pull off for television week after week.
We knew going into the show that the name Stargate, because of the feature film, implies epic. And we knew that if we didn't do something as big and grandiose as the film, that we'd lose the audience. So going in, we knew this was going to be big. We have a lot of space here, a lot of sound stages, a huge construction crew. And we're literally building massive sets like the one we're sitting in every week.
Then there are the special effects. Cast members Don Davis and Richard Dean Anderson both agree that the effects are important elements in the show.
I thought that especially in the pilot, that the effects were seamless. And the people that watch the series regularly, well, the comment that you normally hear is that it's like watching a film every week. The effects are amazing.
We've got one of the more interesting special effects and concepts, credible concepts to launch our stories. From that point on, it's all in how you tell the story, and we have some interesting stories to tell.
Ever wonder how Star Trek characters are created? Coming up, the creator of my character on Deep Space Nine. Plus, a pilotless war machine that may revolutionize battlefields in the future.
Storage, reserve power, on.
What is it?
It's your Stargate.
We've opened a doorway to a world we know nothing about.
Be sure to enter the Star Trek Sweepstakes, sponsored by Best Western and the Sci-Fi Channel. The contest is in celebration of the channel's launch of the digitally remastered original Star Trek series, now seen weeknights at 7:30 p.m. Eastern, exclusively on the Sci-Fi Channel. The grand prize is a 7-day trip for two to Dusseldorf, Germany, to attend the premiere of the Star Trek World Tour, which is an incredible live Federation adventure featuring a walkthrough recreation of the USS Enterprise. Enter to win at any Best Western, participating budget rent-a-car locations, or log on to our Dominion website at www.scifi.com. You must be at least 21 to enter. Science fiction is coming of age on the battlefield. A flying vehicle has been developed that can carry out complicated spy missions deep behind enemy lines and even fly dangerous bombing missions without anyone on board. Called the SciFiEnt, this space-age weapon suggests that wars of the future could be fought without risking the lives of American soldiers. It looks and soars through the air like a flying saucer. The unmanned aerial vehicle, called the SciFiEnt, was designed by Sikorsky Aircraft, which pioneered the helicopter industry. To find out how the SciFiEnt works, we traveled to Epcot Center in Florida. There, we met the mastermind behind the flying disc, aerospace engineer James Sycon.
Basically, it is a helicopter with the rotors inside the shroud. The reason that we put the rotors inside the shroud was for safety, so that it could come down in confined areas, bounce off things, and you wouldn't ever have to worry about the blade striking something and potentially hurting somebody.
The SciFiEnt is remote controlled, but has enough smarts to take care of the details.
SciFiEnt is a smart vehicle, and what I mean by that is it has all the sensor technology in there to go off and fly by itself. The operator basically has a computer screen and tells it where it wants it to go, and the aircraft will figure out how to get there, what altitudes to fly, and then go off and do it.
The idea for the SciFiEnt germinated after the bombing of the U.S. Marine barracks in Beirut in 1986. The military renewed a long-standing interest in an unmanned aircraft capable of hovering behind enemy lines and relaying pictures of potential threats. In response, the Sikorsky Company developed the SciFiEnt. Along the way, they realized the craft could be used for more than just aerial surveillance.
What we found out, because of the protected shroud, we could go out and land remotely in confined areas. To demonstrate this, we've gone to a place called the Mount site at Fort Benning, where we actually landed on top of buildings. Then when you're on top of the building, the sensors would turn left and right and survey the area so that you knew what was going on.
Saikon and his colleagues at Sikorsky then realized that the car-sized vehicle need not be limited to spying.
We also use it as a payload delivery system where we can mount payloads on the inside and we can go out and deliver it. So in a quick response type application where you need blood someplace quickly, you could just send this cipher there and it would deliver the blood.
Payloads might also include grenades, tear gas, or spikes that puncture tires on enemy vehicles. But Saikon expects the craft will actually have more civilian applications than military. For instance, it could be used in drug interdiction, search and rescue, and fighting forest fires.
A lot of times with all the smoke, you're trying to find out where the real hot spot of the fire is. Cypher could, with the right sensors, just fly right in, get close, give you a picture of how hot it is, where's the hot spot, and which ways it's spreading.
Once it's in use, the Cypher should vastly increase UFO sightings. That is, until people get used to seeing these alien-looking aircraft. Now, the Cypher is a war machine straight out of Star Trek, and I think this man would agree. Meet the co-supervising producer of Star Trek Deep Space Nine, Renee Echevarria. Okay, the new season starts at the end of this month. Now, I'm on the set, so I know, but I know the fans are wondering, what's going on with Dax?
Well, as you know, Terry Farrell has left the show, and we're very sad to see her go, but we wish her well.
Sorry.
And her character, Dax, we thought about recasting, but we decided that we didn't want to do that and try to bring in another actress. So we're just actually thought we'd keep the worm, the symbiont that she had in her belly, keep that on the station, you know, give it a little special chair where she can, you don't think that's a good idea?
God. You know, you're the writer. Okay, all right.
No, we have a new Dax, and we have found a wonderful actress named Nikki DeBoer, who is from Canada. She's young, about 22 years old, and she's a fun, quirky, new Dax character.
Similar to Terry's Dax, or?
In some ways, about an eighth similar, since she has 8 other lifetimes that Terry's didn't have.
True.
So it's a lot of fun. She should be really interesting.
One of your jobs is to create new characters and new character arcs for regular characters. What? How do you go about that?
Well, lots of times we get the cues from the actors. When, say, Odo was originally written, they were hoping for sort of a Clint Eastwood type to come in. And then in comes Rene Auberjonois, who we all know from Benson and from all his work as a funny guy. And he comes in and he just sort of transforms himself and becomes this tough guy. So he got the part. But underneath that, there's Rene Auberjonois, and there's a lot of sensitivity and gentleness, and little by little we started to move him into those directions. And the whole love affair with Kira began really with just a look he gave her one day on camera. It wasn't anything scripted, and everyone saw it in dailies and said, my God, he's in love with Kira.
Wow.
And now look at them making out on the promenade.
Interesting. So it's a pretty well-known fact that this will be the last season for Deep Space Nine. Are you planning any heavy-duty finale where we're all going home, or can you tell us about that?
Well, unlike Next Generation, Deep Space Nine has been kind of a serial, continuing storylines, and Next Generation ended and off they went. We feel that we have a lot of stories we want to wrap up, character arcs and journeys that we want to wrap up, and what's going to happen to Sisko, what is his role as emissary, what's going to happen to Odo with his people, are people going to stay together, are they going to disperse, and how are we going to feel about that? So those are all things we are consciously planning to touch on and sort of wrap up, and
Don't leave
hopefully
us all
satisfyingly. Okay.
Well, I'd really like you to stay for a while, because I've yet to find out how you came up with my character on the series, Lita the Bajoran Dabo girl.
I remember.
That's coming up. Up next, the 30th anniversary of Planet of the Apes. Meet the men who created 2 of sci-fi's most memorable characters. In a recent show, we asked you to vote for your favorite teen horror film. Here are the results of our online poll. You can visit our website by going to www.scifi.com/entertainment. Each week, we pour through hundreds of new sci-fi products and announcements to find some unique ideas to give you. Here are the ones we hereby declare Sci-Fi Best Bets. If you like like Star Trek and famous literature, you'll enjoy Treks Not Taken. This is a collection of next-generation parodies written in the styles of world-renowned authors. There are stories like Moby Trek, not written by Herman Melville, and The Vampire LaForge, not written by Anne Rice. There's even a rhyming Trek story definitely not written by Dr. Seuss. Treks Not Taken was actually written by Stephen R. Boyette and costs an almost laughable $10.
Anyone messes with me and the whole camp goes.
Horror aficionados will enjoy the just-released DVD version of John Carpenter's The Thing, starring Kurt Russell. In addition to the letterboxed film, this collector's edition includes an 80-minute documentary, cast and crew interviews, storyboards, plus never-before-seen outtakes. It's all packed onto one little DVD for about $35.
Shall we play a game?
And for strategy gamers, check out War Games. Based on the hit film, War Games pits players against the artificially intelligent Whopper computer in an attempt to save humanity. The game has great 3D graphics, multiple weapons and perspectives, and even real-time weather effects. War Games is available for under $45. Those are this week's Sci-Fi Best Bets. The year was 1968. Earth was taken over by a race of intelligent simians who enslave what's left of the human race. That was the setting for Planet of the Apes, one of the most popular science fiction movies of all time. This year marks the 30th anniversary of a film that's become a classic.
Cornelius has developed the most brilliant hypothesis.
But I'm probably wrong.
That the ape evolved from a lower order of primate, possibly man.
After 4 sequels and 2 TV series, it's easy to forget how unique and original Planet of the Apes was when the film opened 30 years ago. Adapted by Rod Serling from Pierre Boulle's novel and directed by Franklin Schaffner, the novelty of the plot and characters contributed much to the picture's tremendous success.
It was simply a marvelous idea for a movie. I don't think the fallen Statue of Liberty is in the Boule novel. That was either Rod Serling's idea or possibly Franklin Schaffner's. I'd like to say it was mine, but it wasn't.
Although the producers deemed Serling's script unfilmable and had it rewritten by Michael Wilson, Serling's trick ending stayed in the film. Astronaut Taylor stumbles across ruins of the Statue of Liberty and realizes the Planet of the Apes is actually Earth.
Oh my God. I'm back. I'm home. All the time. We finally really did it.
30 years ago, sci-fi buffs were hardly surprised that this Earth-like planet with English-speaking inhabitants actually was Earth. But the ending caught mainstream audiences off guard. The film's makeup was remarkable for the time as well. John Chambers won a special Oscar for turning Roddy McDowall, Kim Hunter, and Maurice Evans into realistic simians. Also key to the film's success, its direction. While fans recognize what Charlton Heston, Roddy McDowall, Rod Serling, and John Chambers contributed to the picture, they often don't know that Franklin Schaffner directed it, and his inventive work is usually overlooked.
When those guys, the astronauts, that moment in the film, hear, and then the audience suddenly sees what they're hearing, which are these gorillas on horseback, and it's wonderful. It's just wonderful filmmaking.
Planet of the Apes hasn't been out on video for nearly a decade, but in honor of its 30th anniversary, Fox Video has re-released the picture and its sequels. The films have been restored, remastered, and for the first time released in stereo. So now, fans of Planet of the Apes, and those who have never seen it, can enjoy a sci-fi classic in state-of-the-art video. This month, Masters of Fantasy goes inside the incredible world of Japanese animation. Don't miss a unique look at this compelling genre. Masters of Fantasy, The Anime Filmmakers, airs on Tuesday, September 15th at 7 p.m. and 11 p.m. Eastern, only on the Sci-Fi Channel. I'm joined again by Renee Echevarria, the co-supervising producer of Deep Space Nine, a show I enjoy working on as much as this one. Okay, tell me, Renee, I've always wanted to know, how did you come up with my character, Lita the Dabo Girl?
Well, if I remember, you auditioned to be a Dabo girl who was going to date Jake,
right,
Captain Sisko's son, but you came in and you were terrific, but he's so young and we thought she will eat him alive.
Right.
But we just loved you so much and we thought you were so fetching that we said we have to create a character for this woman. So we thought, well, let's see where this goes. Maybe a relationship with Bashir. So came up with how you first flirted with him and pretended you had a little cough because he was a doctor, and kept going from there. And then of course you dumped him.
Yes, of course. Well, who wouldn't?
And moved to Rom.
For Rom.
Your husband, Rom.
Exactly, and it's love.
Yeah.
It's been great having you here. You can look forward to seeing more action, a new Dax, and lots of surprises on Deep Space Nine starting later this month. Thanks for joining us, Renee. And that's all the sci-fi we have time for this week. Join us next weekend for another edition of Sci-Fi Entertainment.
Produced in association with the Sci-Fi Channel.